Have you ever wondered what it's like to live in the land of kilts, haggis, and bagpipes? Scotland, a land steeped in history, draped in breathtaking landscapes, and brimming with a culture that's as vibrant as it is unique. Imagine waking up to the sight of ancient castles, spending your days exploring the emerald green highlands, and your evenings enjoying a dram of world-renowned Scotch whiskey. You'd be part of a society that takes pride in its Gaelic roots, a nation where tradition and modernity stride hand in hand. You might even find yourself swept up in the lively energy of the Edinburgh Festival or the grandeur of a Highland Games event. It's an experience that's nothing short of enchanting, offering a glimpse into a life that's as rich as the tartan patterns that adorn the kilts of its people. But what if I told you that there's a darker side to living in Scotland that not many people talk about? Imagine waking up every day to unpredictable weather. Scotland, a land of striking landscapes, is also a land of capricious climates. The weather here plays by its own rules, changing its mood faster than a toddler denied candy. One moment, you're basking in the warm glow of the sun, the next, you're caught in a sudden drizzle. There's a saying here in Scotland, if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes. Many a picnic plan has been foiled by an unexpected downpour. Many a hike has been transformed into a mudslide adventure thanks to a sudden shower. And oh, the number of times you've had to dash back inside to fetch that forgotten umbrella, only to find the rain has stopped by the time you're back out. But it's not all doom and gloom. There's a certain charm to this unpredictability. It keeps you on your toes, always ready for a surprise. It makes you appreciate the sunshine a little more when it does grace you with its presence. And let's not forget the magic of a sudden rainbow stretching across the gray sky after a quick shower. Then there's the wind, another constant companion in Scotland. It whispers through the highlands, roars along the coastlines, and rustles the leaves in the cities. It can be a gentle breeze that cools your face on a summer day, or a gust so strong it feels like you're taking part in an impromptu kite-flying contest. Winter, spring, summer or fall, you'll find Scotland's weather playing its own tune. It's a symphony of sun, rain, wind, and clouds, all dancing together in an unpredictable ballet. The locals have a love-hate relationship with it. It's frustrating, yes, but it's also a part of what makes Scotland so uniquely Scotland. So when you're packing for your trip to Scotland, remember to pack your sense of adventure along with your raincoat. And remember, in Scotland, there's no such thing as bad weather, just the wrong clothes. The Scottish weather, a constant companion that you can never quite rely on. Picture this: a serene evening by the loch, spoiled by a swarm of tiny, relentless creatures. Now, this isn't a scene from a horror movie, it's a reality many face in the Scottish Highlands, thanks to the tiny but mighty nuisance known as the Highland Midge. These little insects, no bigger than a grain of rice, are common in Scotland, especially during the warmer months. They're drawn to carbon dioxide, which we humans tend to exhale quite a bit, making us an irresistible target. Now imagine you're out enjoying a picnic or a hike, and suddenly you're surrounded by a cloud of these midges. Not exactly the idyllic outdoor experience you were hoping for, right? Highland Midges are known for their relentless pursuit and their annoyingly itchy bites. The females in particular are bloodthirsty little creatures needing a meal to lay their eggs. And what's their meal of choice, you ask? Well, it's you, my friend. They'll zoom in on you, undeterred by any attempts to swat them away. Once they've had their fill, they leave behind an itchy souvenir that'll have you scratching for days. But it's not all doom and gloom. There are ways to combat these pesky insects. Midge repellents and nets are quite popular among locals and tourists alike, and if you're lucky, a breeze will keep them at bay, as they're not the best flyers. The Highland Midges have become such an integral part of Scottish life that they've even inspired a bit of humor. There's an old Scottish saying that goes, "If you think you are too small to make a difference, try sleeping with a midge." They might be small, but they sure do leave a big impression. Despite their nuisance, these tiny creatures play an important role in the ecosystem. They provide food for a variety of birds and bats and help to pollinate plants. So, while they may ruin our perfect picnic, they're essential to the circle of life in the Highlands. The Highland Midges, small in size but mighty in their ability to ruin a perfectly good day. Ever found yourself nodding along to a conversation, understanding none of it? Well, if you've ever been to Scotland, you might have found yourself in such a situation. Yes, we're talking about the thick, rich, and sometimes utterly baffling Scottish accent. It's a delightful part of the Scottish charm, but it can also be a bit of a head-scratcher for the uninitiated. Imagine this: you step into a local pub, the air is thick with chatter and laughter, and you hear someone say, "Gunny no day that." If you're new to Scotland, you might be left scratching your head, but to a local, it simply means, please don't do that. Or perhaps you're at a cafe and the person next to you orders a peas and jam. You might be picturing some elaborate Scottish dish, but they've simply asked for a jam sandwich. And then there's the famous phrase, "It's a drike day," which you might hear quite often considering Scotland's penchant for rainy days. No, it's not some mystical Scottish event, it simply means it's a gloomy, damp day. But it's not just about the words, it's also the speed and rhythm of the speech that can leave you floundering. The Scottish accent has a musicality to it, a lilt that can turn a simple sentence into a melody. It's part of what makes the accent so endearing, but also what can make it challenging to understand. But fear not, just like any language or dialect, the more you hear it, the easier it becomes to understand. Plus, the Scottish people are known for their warmth and friendliness, so don't be afraid to ask them to repeat themselves or explain what they've said. They'll likely do so with a smile and perhaps even a chuckle. So, while the Scottish accent might initially seem like a hurdle, it's also part of the adventure of living in Scotland. It's part of the tapestry that makes up this fascinating country, adding color, humor, and a dash of mystery to everyday interactions. The Scottish accent, a charming puzzle that takes some getting used to. Imagine going to work in the dark and coming home in the dark. It's not a scene from a dystopian novel, but a reality for many during Scotland's long and dark winters. The Scottish winter is an entity of its own, a unique experience that is as much a part of the country's character as its rugged highlands and enchanting lochs. The winter days are short, with daylight becoming a rare and precious commodity. The sun often rises well after 8 in the morning and sets before 4 in the afternoon, leaving a scant 8 hours of daylight in between. This lack of sunlight can have a profound impact on both mood and energy levels. There's a distinct heaviness that hangs in the air, a quiet melancholy that seeps into everyday life. Even the most resilient among us can find their spirit tested by the relentless darkness. It's not uncommon to feel a dip in energy, a sense of lethargy that makes even the simplest tasks seem monumental. But amidst the darkness, there is a flicker of light. The long winters also bring with them a unique sense of camaraderie and resilience. Scots have a long history of weathering harsh climates, and the dark winters are no exception. There's a certain solidarity that comes from facing the same challenge, a shared understanding that binds the community together. Winter in Scotland is also a time for celebration. The stark beauty of the snow-covered landscapes, the coziness of a warm fire, the joy of Christmas markets and hogmanay celebrations. These are the silver linings that counterbalance the darkness. Yes, the winters are long and dark, but they're also a time of reflection and introspection. They offer a chance to slow down, to appreciate the simple pleasures, and to find joy in the midst of adversity. The long dark winters, a yearly test of endurance and spirit. But in Scotland, they're also a testament to the resilience of its people and the enduring allure of this remarkable land. So, is it all gloom and doom in the land of the Scots? Not exactly. While the weather can be unpredictable, the Highland Midges relentless, the accent a tad challenging, and the winters long and dark, Scotland is so much more than these minor inconveniences. Its beauty is awe-inspiring, its culture rich, and its people welcoming. The lochs, the glens, the castles, the festivals, they all paint a picture that's nothing short of magical. Every place has its pros and cons, and Scotland is no different. But what truly matters is how you embrace and adapt to these challenges. They become part of the adventure, part of the story, part of what makes living in Scotland a unique experience. If you've lived in Scotland, you know what we're talking about, so raise your glasses. Here's to the bonny land of the Scots. Scotland, a land of contrasts, where the good always outweighs the not so good.